Hey y'all, so before I get this video started, let me give a quick shout out. These were the first 3 comments in my last video. If you want to be featured in my next video, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell and come show me some love when I drop a new video. What's up, you guys? It's KeAmber Vaughn, aka Coach Key, coming back to you with another video. If you are new to my channel, welcome, and if you're not new, welcome back. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and also tap the bell so that you are notified of every new video that I post. So as you guys can tell by the title of this video, in this video I'm going to be showing you guys how I reconcile my accounts on a monthly basis. I asked you guys, I think last month, and I think I've asked a couple of times, if you guys wanted to see the process, and many of you said that you did. So for me, I am someone who uses one credit card for the majority of my expenses. So with that happening, with different checks coming in, it's very important that I reconcile all of my different accounts. So in this process, this is a process that I do after each paycheck to paycheck budget. And then at the end of the month, after I've reconciled paycheck to paycheck 2 or 3, if it is a magic month for me, I then do the entire process for the entire month. And because I do use my credit card for everything, I have to not only reconcile my credit card, make sure that it matches all of my expenses on my expense tracker, but then I have to make sure that my checking account is where it's supposed to be. So there's a bunch of different moving parts in my budget. In this video, I'm going to show you how everything comes together at the end of every month. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video. Okay, so the first thing that I do when I'm reconciling my accounts is I have to make sure that everything in my expense tracker looks correct. So first of all, and I just realized that I never wrote this in. So what I had left at the end of my October budget was not 408, my gosh, was 480.16. And then what I had left at the end of the first budget, which is over here, hopefully you guys can see that, was 727.86, which meant that I spent 247.70. I forgot to write that in there. So I kind of reconciled this way at the end of like every paycheck, but I just want to show you guys how I did it at the end of this paycheck, which is ended up having to be at the end of the month as well. So first I kind of write out, all right, I have 480.16 left in the budget. I subtract the 727.86 that was left in my variable expenses after paycheck 1. And I know it's going to give me a negative number, but it's really a positive number. So I spent, and we just did this calculation. All right, cool. So with this particular last paycheck, out of all of my expenses that you see here, I knew that we got the budget of $247.70 that I spent. Now, rent is something that I take out of my checking account and I put it into my savings. My car insurance, I have to cash out my mom, so that comes out of my checking account. Right now, I'm trying to figure out everything that was included on my credit card, which most of my expenses are on there. So then the stock club is something that's PayPal. So of course, PayPal comes out of the checking account. Now my dental insurance does come off of my credit card, and so does my health insurance. And then this Xbox Live membership that came off of my debit card as well. So we have the $247.70 that I spent, the $954 that was my dental insurance, and then we got the $165.22 that was my health insurance. And I subtracted there by accident. So that gives me $422.46. So this lets me know that this should be my credit card balance, because I pay my credit card off at the end of every paycheck cycle. So basically every 2 weeks I pay that off. So The next thing that I'm going to do is go ahead to my Chase account, which is who my credit card is through. And at the time that I wrote all of this out for me to be able to do the video for you guys, and I have screenshots, so I will be putting the screenshots in. So the balance on my account at the time was showing $300.50. That's totally different from here. However, I did have $121.96 in pending expenses, which you will see on the screenshot. And the way that Chase works, if you have anything pending, it's not going to show it in your actual balance until it clears. So when we add this up, $121.96, that gets me $422.46, which you guys see was what I had already projected that should actually be there. So now that my credit card is taken care of, now I have to make sure that my checking account is correct, because sometimes I do have paychecks that come through or expenses that come out of my checking, you know, and different things like that. So what happened this month, so now I'm just going to put B of A because that's where my checking account is. At the time of me kind of reconciling my account down, because sometimes when I'm reconciling that budget, everything hasn't completely cleared out of my account just yet. So my account balance at the time was $5,079.24, right? However, there is a $12.64 Amazon check that was in there, and I forgot to account for that. Actually, no, I think I got paid that too late. So I'm actually going to end up including that in my November budget when I actually do my YouTube paycheck. So if I take that out, because I can't take that into account, it's technically not supposed to be there. That means that my checking balance is $5,066.60. Okay. Usually I only have something that's small like this, but sometimes it could be something else. Now I have to make my credit card payment, so we have to subtract the $422.46, and this is going to be my credit card payment. That means my ending balance should be $46.44.14. So again, first step, I go to my expense tracker to figure out what I spent, and then I take whatever my variable expense was plus any fixed expenses that I know came out of my credit card, because I have to figure out what my payment is supposed to be. Then I go into my credit card account, look at my balance, and make sure what the total amount is on my balance is what I thought my payment should be, because I don't want to overpay or underpay. Then I go into my checking account and kind of reconcile that. So then the last thing that I do is I make my last double check by going to the bottom of that particular paycheck. So if I was reconciling paycheck 1, I would be going down here and kind of copying the numbers from there. But we're in paycheck 2. So when you reconcile your account after every paycheck, you don't have to do everything as a whole at the end. It's a lot easier to do it step by step, whether it's weekly or bi-weekly versus once a month. So the next thing I'm going to do is put P2P number 2, that's paycheck to paycheck number 2 budget. And we're going to use the reconciliation at the bottom. So 5101.38 was my starting balance. You guys can see here, because if I take the beginning balance from the ending balance of the last paycheck and then I add in my income, that's the total amount that I had to start off with, right? So my fixed expenses were actually $467.24. Now I thought it was going to be $534.41. However, my insurance went down from $129.66 to $62.49. So I had to take that into account. So then we go to variable. I thought I was going to spend $607.50, but I only spent $247.70. which again, remember we came up with up here already. So everything is just about checks and balances. And the times where I don't do my checks and balances is when I have something incorrect. It always happens. So then savings, I didn't save any money, because what you guys see here as far as savings, which was the $644.14, that was at the end of the budget. But I have to figure out what my checking account is first, because once I end my total budget, if you guys are new to my channel, I like to start my checking account at $4,000 every budget. So I have to figure out what my checking account balance is supposed to be first, and then I can reconcile it down at the end of the month. So if I take the $51,0138, I subtract my fixed expenses, variable, there was no savings. That got me $43.86.44. However, I did have $257.70 left over from my YouTube paycheck, because all I did was take out 20% for taxes. $257.70. So that gave me an ending balance of $46.44.14, which means that I was able to send $644.14 off to savings. And this is how I did it. So this was the original paper that I did like in real time when I was trying to figure everything out, and I just kind of recopied it over. So that's literally how I reconcile my budget every single time. It doesn't matter if it's at the end of my total like monthly budget or if it's at the end of the paycheck. Again, my steps are to figure out how much I spent total in my variable expense category. And because I use credit cards, now if you're somebody who doesn't use credit cards, you don't have to balance so many accounts, but I do. So I had to figure out how much is my credit card balance supposed to be based on what expenses I know go onto my card. Then I actually went into my credit card account to see what the balance is. So I had to take what my actual balance was showing and then anything that was pending transactions. Then we went to the actual checking account, because of course I pay my credit card bill out of there. So I had to take what my balance was at the time that it was showing, subtract anything that wasn't supposed to be there. And I like to do this before I get my paycheck, but if I just so happen to do it after I actually got paid at midnight, I would also subtract, just like I subtracted this Amazon paycheck, I would also subtract my actual job paycheck out of there. So that gave me this balance, and then I had to take into account that this amount was going to come out from my credit card, and then we got that. And then just to, again, at the last part of double checking, I did the actual column here, which I did on paper first, and that led me to the same $46.44.14 that I wrote up here. So it's like always should be different parts of your budget where the numbers match, and that's how you know that you're good. So I hope this made sense. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys have any questions, if anything was confusing, of course, feel free to leave your questions down below. Please thumbs up this video, subscribe if you haven't already. But other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.